lead off Falby with that 500 plus on base percentage, so she knows how to get on base as well.
Last year's Freshman of the Year, Keegan Rothrock, will get the start, her 19th start in the circle. And for Keegan, the All-American a year ago is 11-5 with a 3.08 ERA.
Well, and can just be explosive in the circle. She had a little bit of an injury earlier in the year. She's rebounding from it. Still explosive with the rise ball at the top of the zone, but she also has a very good changeup and drop ball. She'll hammer at the lower half of the zone. But when she is not throwing through her spins and she's throwing with that really good spin speed as well as with the velocity, she can dominate in the circle.
Underway in Gainesville. We'll keep an eye on the scoreboard as well as Texas A&M and Tennessee starting at the same time as we are. Game one of the three-game set with the SEC Championship still very much in play. With 4 teams still in the race, Florida can play spoiler. They can get a double bye. And oh, by the way, both of these clubs on a very short list for potential #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Ella Parker sits in that 3 spot and playing through a leg injury, and the bat is starting to heat up. Look at the numbers through the last 8 games. Fabulous. Two and 2 to Cassidy Pickering. Named one of the National Player of the Year finalists this week. The list at 25. And a swing and miss, and Rothrock will start it out with the strikeout.
Well, Rothrock with a good start against Pickering. And she's going to work away from her with that rise ball. She just elevates that. Really good spin on that pitch. You can see the backward rotation, and that's really what she does. She's going to be mid to high 60s. It's a multi-level rise ball. When she keeps that up in the zone, she can be tough, especially when hitters are biting, but she'll also work drop, curve, and a changeup.
Here's Gabby Garcia, the freshman shortstop. One of the contenders for SEC Freshman of the Year. Oklahoma hot coming in. They swept Texas at home to jump into the top spot in the SEC standings. And in game 3, Gabby Garcia hit a 3-run home run. It was a slugfest in Norman. And Gabby, in fact, has homered in 3 of her last 4 games.
Yeah, she's been just such a bonus. Shortstop, really solid. Offensively solid.
Opposite way, out to Corbiotis, 2 down.
You can have a freshman come in and anchor that shortstop position as well as swing a bat. It is just truly a blessing.
Yeah, the last 2 there were both All-Americans, Tiari Jennings and Grace Lyons. So here comes Ella Parker. Shade under 400 on the season, but has homered in back-to-back games. And another fly ball out to Otis. And it's a 1-2-3 start for Rothrock. Gators picking up the bats when we come back. Sam Landry, the senior transfer, who's a finalist for National Player of the Year honors, already 3 times the SEC Pitcher of the Week, including a couple of big wins in the sweep of Texas last weekend. And the lineup she will face, big weekend for the seniors. Falby and Walsh that have been here since day 1. Otis, who transferred in a couple of years ago. 19 home runs and 119 RBI for the women in blue. And Kendra Falby, one of the best leadoff hitters in the country. Tim Walton told us earlier today, Michelle, the leadoffs will be critical. Every inning, they got the leadoff out for Oklahoma to start the game, and now Falby will try and get on base to open it up for the Gators.
Yeah, that's just textbook softball. You get your leadoff on, and you know when you're in the circle, you got to get there, lead off, out. And it seems like fundamental, but it's tough to do.
Here's the 0-2. Falby. Out to left, Abby Dayton's got it, 1 down.
Well, Sam Landry in the circle has a lot of tools. She's really refined them since arriving at Oklahoma. It's that rise ball at the top of the zone, but really the drop ball that's been falling off the table. She's got that good velocity. She'll be up near 70 miles an hour. That it's that drop to both sides of the plate is really where a lot of hitters are going to be hunting off of her, but she also has a very good mix of speeds. On that last pitch was the change up the mix of speed, so she's going to be mid to high 60s, sharp downward movement with that drop ball on both sides, and she can also miss those barrels with good break up in the zone with that rise ball.
Facing Taylor Shoemaker, the freshman out of Fullerton, California, 4th in the country in RBI, and already rewriting the record books for freshmen here in Gainesville. She's got the RBI and doubles record, flirting with the home run record. She's got 16. A few years back, Brittany Schutte hit 19 as a rook. .30 pitch, taken all the way. Another one of the contenders for Freshman of the Year honors in the SEC as well as nationally. And she draws the walk, so a 1-out base runner for the Gators.
And Shoemaker also, because she has that high on-base percentage, does a good job also of stealing bases, 17 of 18, so she is a run threat that Oklahoma's going to have to defend against.
Both these clubs offensively very similar. Their batting averages are high. They hit a lot of home runs. They walk a lot as well. Both these teams top 5 in the country.
235th walk for Florida on the year. That's a lot.
And that sets up a moment for Corby Otis, the senior from Littleton, Colorado. Shoemaker is a threat to steal, 17 of 18 on the season. And Corby Otis this weekend will try and bust out of a bit of a funk. 4 hits in her last 23 at-bats, but also 4 walks. And that one will drift out of play. Actually, some good cloud cover tonight here in Gainesville, so what should be smoking hot is actually quite pleasant. Not as humid as it can be this time of year. Doesn't chase after the 1-2 pitch. Gators come in ranked number 7 in the polls, but they are number 2 in RPI with the toughest schedule in the country for the selection committee to think about. Snap throw down, Shoemaker is back in. How about this for the Gators? 24 conference games. Every single one of them is against a ranked opponent this year.
Welcome to the SEC.
Yes, including the newly minted #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners this weekend.
That's right. You know what you're going to get. Competition weekend in and out.
That's another 3-ball count and another walk. Tough start here for Landry and a couple of freebies.
Yeah, Landry just 29 walks on the year coming in. Walks the number 2 and 3 hitters for Florida.
Umpires tonight, Keith Carney behind the plate, Dustin Douglas and Brian Crochet on the bases. And here's Jocelyn Erickson, last year's SEC Player of the Year.
Erickson, when she was at Oklahoma, spent time behind Kinsey Hansen and decided she wanted her opportunities, transferred over to Florida.
Yeah, was there for 1 year, part of a national championship team. And now that rarity, a lefty catcher. Oh, by the way, was all SEC defensive team a year ago in that spot.
Yeah, she's outstanding behind the dish. Swings that big bat.
7 of her last 8 hits have been for extras. Ground ball to short. Garcia to Agbayani for 1. Over to first. Florida's going to try and score on it, and the tag at home, and they get Shoemaker trying to score. And a double play to end the inning.
Great job by the defense of Oklahoma. Garcia to Agbayani, but then Barker, the freshman who gets the start at first base, a little bit of a bobble, gets it down to Emmerling to get Shoemaker out.
Won the first game and forced the, if necessary, Jada Coleman with the walk-off to get into the championship series, knock Florida out. I mean, usually when these two see each other, it's at the World Series in June. Now together in the SEC.
Some more fireworks.
They've been so good for so long under Patty Gasso and Tim Walton that one or the other has played for the national championship in 13 of the last 15 years, including that epic showdown in the 2017 finals head-to-head and the greatest game ever played. Oklahoma beating Florida in 17 innings in Game 1 of the Champ Series. And now Oklahoma trying to come to town to win an SEC championship, and 2, Florida trying to prevent that from happening.
It is only fitting that this is the final weekend of the SEC regular season and these two clubs match up and there's something on the line. There's always something on the line.
Nelly McEnroe-Marinas flies out to Falby, 1 down. Scoreless here in Gainesville, also scoreless in Knoxville tonight. Texas A&M and Tennessee. If the Aggies lose that game and Oklahoma wins this one, they have at least a share of the SEC title. A&M, Texas, and Tennessee all still with a shot at it. And then Florida tied with Arkansas for 5th place, but they lost to Arkansas the series head-to-head, so the backs would have the tiebreak there.
Yeah, it makes your job definitely a lot easier when you get that double bye going into next week with the SEC tournament.
Yeah, all 15 teams will be in Athens for the SEC tournament. So double bye for seeds 1 through 4. Seeds 5 through 9 get a single bye. If you have to play on opening day, like Missouri, they have to win the SEC tournament. And that would be 5 wins in 5 days, and a base knock here for Agbayani.
Agbayani is always so good at going the opposite way. Look at the way she's going to let this ball travel. It's an inside pitch. It bleeds over the plate just a little bit, but she's going to whack that through the 5-6 hole. That is just about being patient, reading the ball, seeing where it's going, and keeping your hands and that barrel inside the ball to get it onto the green.
So the SEC's Player of the Week is on board. And here's the newcomer in the lineup tonight, Sydney Barker, replacing Sid Sanders at first base. We were told pregame that was due to illness. Her 5th start at first. She's also played short and in the outfield. A freshman out of Rockland, California. Hitting .382 this year with runners on base. Falby, under it again, 2 down. That's 4 of the 5 outs for Rothrock in the air.
Couple to left, couple to center. So that rise ball, reducing those pop flies.
Here's Abby Dayton in the 7th spot in the order. Had a 3-hit game in the Texas series last weekend. One of the 3 transfers in the starting lineup tonight. She came from Utah, where she was a third-team All-American last year. Her resume includes a Pac-12 batting title. Crazy to think, Michelle, they might be the overall #1 seed again in the NCAA tournament, even though they lost their top 3 pitchers and 6 starters in the field from a year ago.
That senior class that everybody talks so much about won 4 consecutive national championships that everyone thinks, well, certainly they're going to be a rebuilding year.
No.
No.
Patty Gasso don't play that. Just missed away.
But there's a lot of energy, a lot of new energy, quite a few athletes that have not won a national championship on this team. So, you know, they're gunning for it. They're working hard every day.
They're hungry.
They are hungry for it. Well, and Coach Gasso has mentioned that it's kind of renewed softball a little bit for her. She had a lot of coaching, a lot of teaching.
Look at the SEC. That's awfully good. In the top 10, the only other ones that would have a shot at the top would be UCLA or Florida State. Otherwise, it does look like an SEC team is going to get not only the 1 seed, but possibly half of the top 16, if not more than that.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how the regionals play out, and then potential super regional matchups within conferences.
Another 2-2. Dayton's having a foul fest right now. This is one thing that when you cover Oklahoma, you see a lot of. They are so good at fighting off pitches they don't like, waiting to find one they do.
That's right. And, you know, they don't take the strike zone for granted. They do not strike out a lot. Just 175 strikeouts on the year to over 230 walks. And they do that. They get rid of pitches close to the zone. They wait for pitchers to make mistakes, and then they damage the ball.
You see the on base with 2 strikes, 4th best in the country, and all the walks, 3rd best. Abby Dayton has 5 foul balls this at bat. I believe this is the 9th pitch coming. And another one.
Reminiscent of an old school pickle I used to play before games, just
Oh,
fouling
yeah.
off anything. If it bounced, if it was over your head, you just got the barrel on it.
Pickle for the hitters and 500. You play 500 as a kid, we'd be in the outfield just shagging fly balls for hours on end.
Hours. Honing up that eye-hand coordination, barrel control.
Runner goes, and the throw on line, no. Looks like the tag was made to get her, but sliding in safely is Agbayani.
Yeah, Erickson with a gun, throws from her knees, gets it down. Holtorf is going to make the catch. The question is, the tag looks like it is if it's on the top leg, and so the bottom leg gets to the back of the bag.
Great slide by Agbayani, and then the deep drive will get a run home for the Sooners. So well executed and perfect timing on the hit, and it's 1-0.
And this is all because Agbayani, with that stolen base, gets into scoring position, and then Dayton, after fouling off a ton of pitches, sees a rise ball and just barrels it up. Look at the way she's going to contact this. It is up at her shoulders, and she gets the underneath of the ball, so she catches it with the barrel, and she just goes from high to higher, bashes it out to the fence, easily going to score her teammate Agbayani from second base. Dayton with a big RBI double here in the second.
9 foul balls. She saw 12 pitches in that at-bat. The previous 3 hitters this inning saw 12 pitches total.
Yeah, I mean, that is just a tough at-bat. As a pitcher, that is so grueling. At times, you run out of tools.
So the Sooners strike first. Here's Bella Emmerling. the transfer catcher from North Carolina.
Emmerling has one of the most explosive swings in the game. I mean, she does not leave anything on the table when she takes cuts at pitches.
Oof. That one looked like that was right down Main Street.
Yeah, that looked like a nice pitch. On the inner half, maybe a little high. That's that rise ball that Rothrock will throw at multiple planes.
And now the count goes full. Runner in scoring position. Abby Dayton out there at second.
Job to get rid of that pitch on the outer half after Emily seeing a lot of pitches underneath her hands. They go back outside.
Called strike 3. That'll end the inning, but a run up for the Sooners.
How about Dayton? After fouling pitches off over and over, catches a rise ball. That double into the gap puts Oklahoma on the board.
Coaching career on the softball side after winning a national championship playing baseball at Oklahoma. And he holds the distinction of being the only former assistant coach to beat Patty. 61-1.
Ouch.
Are you crazy? That one win was in the semis last year, and then Patty immediately got that back in the second game of the semis, ultimately going on to win the national championship. These two and Kelly Inoue Perez at UCLA, the only active coaches with more than one title.
Patty Gasso's coaching tree is very long, very well established.
Here's 5, 6, and 7 coming up for the Gators. Tim was having fun. We were rehashing with him today that 2000 national championship run. Famous for being the first team to beat Arizona and UCLA en route to a national championship. But Tim was excited to talk about the first 2 games of that World Series. A walk-off over Cal, and then they beat Courtney Blades, who was one of the hottest pitchers of that era, and Southern Miss. Reagan Walsh grounds this to Nellie Mack, 1 down. Look at Gasso. She's 5-1 head-to-head against Walton, but just barely in the run department, and everybody else, no chance.
Yeah. I mean, it really is incredible.
Yeah. Here's Kenley Cahalan to face Sam Landry. You want to talk about an amazing coaching staff. Jen Rocha, I think, was a grad assistant that year, and Missy Lombardi, who's now the head coach, very successful at Oregon, was the pitching coach back then. I mean, that's one of the great dugouts of all time.
Oh, incredible. And to look at the programs that they're now a part of. Rocha back at Oklahoma after winning a couple of national championships here with Tim Walton.
Mm-hmm. Tim winning the national championship in 2014 and 15. And then Oklahoma started its dynasty, winning 6 of the last 8. There's Kenley Cahalan in the 6th spot in the order. She moves up 1. Mia Williams drops down a spot tonight. She's on deck.
And Landry really starting to bring that changeup out, throwing that often here to Cahalan.
Landry able to work out of a jam in the first after a couple of walks, got a double play, and they threw out Taylor Shoemaker at home. Cahalan, another fly ball out to left. Dayton's got it, 2 down. That'll bring up Mia Williams. Average has dropped in the last couple of weeks, but still, in the last 10 games, 8 hits, 4 of them were homers.
Yeah, 17 home runs on the year, and Beth, just huge improvements. Last year, as a freshman, there were times that she was pinch hit for, really good at second base, but her offensive explosion this year has just been outstanding for the Gators.
Just a sophomore out of Windermere, Florida. A commit in the 7th grade to the Gators. Of course, not a shocker, both parents were Gator athletes.
Exactly.
Don't know if there was another option. Ahead here, 2-0. And now 3-0. And Jen Rocha will come out of the dugout. You like to talk, Smitty, about, is it 2 different strike zones or 3? The umpires and
3 different
the
strike
one you
zones.
think it should be.
Exactly. Well, then that's 4 different strike zones. There's yours as a pitcher, there's the hitter's strike zone, and then obviously the umpire's strike zone. And you got to figure out the umpire's strike zone first. That's normally what you do in the first inning, trying to figure out, is he going to be more low-oriented, high-oriented? Where am I attacking? Of course, then you need to know the strength of the hitter. And are they a low ball hitter, a high ball hitter? And then you, of course, as a pitcher, are you a drop ball pitcher with an umpire with a higher zone? You know, you have to figure that stuff out quickly.
Landry with impressive numbers this year. She's on the short list for SEC Pitcher of the Year honors. Williams draws the 3rd walk to the first 7 batters in the lineup.
And again, remember, we mentioned it earlier, coming into this game, just 29 walks on the year, so 10% of her walks of the year already in this game. That being her 3rd free pass given up.
All right, now it's happening down at the bottom of the order. Ava Brown thought about the bunt. Ava's their 2-way player, solid in the circle, and also gets the call as the DP on those nights when she doesn't get the start.
Well, and how about the defense for Oklahoma? Their entire right side of the infield is so far back. You can see Barker, the freshman shortstop, is well behind the bag. Agbayani, the second baseman, almost out on the green.
Throw down, squirts away from Barker. Remember, that's a new first baseman down there tonight for Oklahoma. Just her 5th of the season. And another 3-ball count. That's already the 5th here in the first couple innings. Ball 4.
Well, and some of those pitches, Beth, are, they're non-competitive, so they're not even close. This is a Gator team that has a very good eye. They used to getting into leveraged counts, and they understand what they need to do in order to make sure that they're drawing the walks. The walks are as good as the hits, so there's already activity in the pen. Peyton Monticelli in the pen for Oklahoma, getting warm.
When we watch all these games around the country, Michelle, I think one of the things all the coaches are concerned with is the consistency of the pitchers from game to game, from series to series. Landry looked pretty sharp against Texas last week.
Very.
And now just 3 days later, really riding the struggle bus to find the strike zone. Here's the 9-hitter Riley Holtorf.
Well, and you can see now she's really just working to miss barrels. And sometimes you have to do that. You got to throw the pitches a little bit sweeter over the white part of the plate, and you just start looking for the swing and miss. So change of speed, more spin speed than velocity. Back-to-back changeups now. Just anything you can to roll ground balls, let that strong defense do some work behind you. And that's what she did in the first inning. A couple of walks in that first inning allowed her defense to get her out of the jam.
Holtorf's batting .355 on the season. An RBI opportunity here. Grad transfer from Washington. Grew up in the Phoenix area. And now Landry's in front, 1-2. Got her out in front of it. Back-to-back innings. Walks get her in some trouble, and she works out of it.
Sam Landry typically with that drop ball and rise ball, but using the changeup for the big strikeout to get out of the jam.
Boomers that are still hitting the ball out of parks all over what used to be the Big 12 and now into the SEC. And similar success as they are one win away and one Texas A&M loss away from winning a share of the SEC championship in their inaugural season.
Well, and to your point, Beth, the story is the same. It's great offensive numbers. It is the ability to strike the ball no matter the count with authority. They're aggressive in the box. And, you know, when you can put up 6, 7, 8 runs a game, you can be more forgiving to your defense and to your pitchers.
It's been a little tougher road
Yep.
in the SEC. Patty has said, you know, we don't see these kind of environments week in and weekend out. They struggled at Alabama with the big crowds at the Roadhouse. She was excited to see how the team would respond here at KDEC Scholl-Presley Stadium, where they get loud. Pickering launches one. Back it goes, and over the fence. Solo home run, Cassidy Pickering, and it's 2-0.
How about Cassidy Pickering, her 14th home run of the year, and after striking out her first at-bat on a rise ball, she is going to attack and get underneath this pitch. It's elevated at her knees, so it's climbing up on the outer half, and she just extends and barrels that up. Such a great job of being able to get under pitches and lift them out of the park. Pickering, again, her 14th home run of the year, shares the lead on this Oklahoma team. 91st home run of the year for Oklahoma.
That's why she is one of the front runners for SEC Player of the Year honors. Now with a 7-game hitting streak, she has hit in 23 of her last 24. The batting average has bounced by about 100 points. And for the Sooners, half of the runs scored have come via the home run. Only the Buckeyes of Ohio State do it better. That's Garcia slicing that one out to center and a base hit.
Well, and it's second time through the order. This is an Oklahoma team that does a very good job of understanding the strike zone, understanding their opponent, the pitcher in the circle, what they are going to be thrown, and adjusting.
And Stephanie Van Brakel, the Gators pitching coach, out to talk with Rothrock. That's a couple of hard hit balls in a row.
You really have to rely on your ability to mix speeds. A little bit of work now in the bullpen. And Olivia Miller.
Yeah, Miller's out there.
Lefty freshman getting ready. But, you know, it really comes down to working on placement of pitches on the corners, trusting your spins, and mixing speeds, just trying to keep Oklahoma off balance.
So Rothrock remains here to face Ella Parker, who flew out to left her first time up. Saying hello to her former teammate back there behind the plate. Rothrock nibbles at the outside corner, 0-1. Parker. Hard hit to short, and that's going to be a double play. But another run up for the Sooners with the long ball.
Well, this Oklahoma team knows how to hit the ball out of the yard, and Pickering does just that. 14th home run of the year for the sophomore, going the opposite way. Oklahoma on top, 2-zip.
Oh, high stakes when the Gators and Sooners get together. 17, 18, and then last year at the World Series, the big home runs, of course, that epic 17-inning showdown in the championship series with Knighton's home run in the 17th inning.
I remember that game. Oof. I think I remember one quote from Beth Mowins.
Yeah, I think after they went down in order, like for the first 4 innings, I was like, well, yeah, we'll be home for dinner while it's still light out. Yeah. 5.5 hours later, I didn't hear the end of it.
No, still doesn't.
Jinxed it.
My phone was telling me to go to bed.
Well, since AC/DC's back out on tour, and who doesn't like a little AC/DC, shook me all night long from that 17-inning game. 132 plate appearances, nearly 500 pitches, took 5.5 hours. Florida, people forget, you know,
Yes.
with all the drama, Florida had 6 chances to walk it off.
Just couldn't touch it.
And twice tied the game, once
Yes.
at the bottom of the 7th and again in the bottom of the 12th to stay alive.
That's right. Yeah. Amanda Lorenz, I think, came up with a big hit.
Yes. That
to
was
tie it
just,
back
what
up.
a night that was.
It was an amazing game. I think we gypped the MLB game after us. There's like a,
I think we
a
gypped
half
the whole
inning.
game.
I think we did. I think there was maybe a Dodgers game. There was a half inning left afterwards.
A strikeout, Landry gets Falby. 1 down as we're back at the top of the order.
Kendra Falby in that leadoff spot. Landry's starting to throw that ball a little sweeter over the dish. That's a drop ball, and she's just going to have that over-the-top rotation. She gets Falby to swing through that pitch.
Her second straight strikeout, 1 down. Here's Taylor Shoemaker.
So Landry has 4 base on balls, but has yet to give up a hit. She's got the unique form where her arm is almost a little bit off to the side of her hip when she turns over her drop ball. A little bit of a different look.
Got a piece of her. 2 free passes in 2 plate appearances for Shoemaker.
Landry not afraid to throw inside, but this pitch gets away from her just a little bit. You can see the way that arm comes outside the hip just a little bit, and that at times can also create control issues, your brain, your body. You don't have that touch point. So sometimes that's why that control can just disappear on you.
How much longer can Landry get away with it before Florida makes her pay? That is now 5 free passes. The previous 4 did not touch home plate. Otis in her second season with the Gators after a couple years at Louisville. Tim Walton singing her praises pregame. Said, I'll be lucky if I can find others like her out of the transfer portal in the years to come. Has been a terrific addition.
Highly intelligent, biology major.
Yeah. Say, I wasn't sure. She could either be a doctor, she could be a rock star. She plays the drums. She could be a race car driver. She loves go-karts.
Yeah.
The world is her oyster. That's in for a strike, 2-2. first-team All-American a year ago, was a 400 hitter. The other thing that Walton talked about was how hitting is contagious. And they've had series where the hitting has been good contagious, and they've had series like LSU, the last 2 games, where it was contagious in the wrong direction. And did not strike it well. There's a well-struck ball. Base hit. Out to left and a couple aboard with 1 out.
Well, and that was a hit and run, and I wonder if sometimes as a coach you're just like, look, they're taking too many pitches close to the zone. You have a feeling in a leveraged count, and this is a pitch that's on the inner half. It just stays elevated, and Otis is going to bash that through the 5-6 hole. Shoemaker was running on the pitch, so Coach Walton trying to get his offense jump-started.
Chance for Jocelyn Erickson in the 4th spot in the order. Last year, 86 runs batted in. This year, her next one will be 50. Hit into a double play back in the 1st.
Continuing to challenge Erickson underneath the hands, probably becoming the inside, also working that mix of speeds, working that effective velocity.
Boy, she was really in on the chalk, almost leaning over the plate, expecting something away. 2-1.
So it's that cat and mouse. Where are they going? Inside, outside.
Pulls that. Barker will throw to second, and it's out into left field, and a run will score. And the Gators putting some pressure on the defense and the new first baseman tonight.
Well, Barker, the new first baseman, you can see this ball slow developing. This is going to be a tough play just because of the way that Otis is going to be coming into the bag with Garcia coming across. Probably a better play to go to first. You can just see there's a lot of crossover in that particular type of play at second base. It's a situation at times you practice, you either got to go all the way across the infield to third, or you just take the out over at first. But that mistake puts a run up on the board for the Gators.
And for the first time tonight, a free pass does haunt the Sooners as Shoemaker scores. Cuts the deficit in half, and now Walsh will try and even it up or take the lead. Grounded to short back in the 2nd. The senior from Redondo Beach, top 5 in school history in home runs and runs batted in. Walsh back up the middle and through. And the Gators tie it up. Otis comes in to score. It's 2 apiece.
Well, Oklahoma did their job making adjustments second time through the order, and now the Gators doing the same thing off of Sam Landry, making these adjustments, drop ball in the outer half, and Reagan Walsh is just going to go down and get that, hit a 100-hopper back up the middle. Kobe Otis with her speed, easily going to score from second base, knotting up this game.
Couple still on board here with 1 out, and the Gators plating a pair on a throwing error, and now an RBI single from Reagan Walsh. Still at it. Here's Kenley Cahalan. Flew out to left her first time up. Ground ball to short. And they'll get one out at second base, and now runners on the corners with 2 down.
Well, and that's a situation I'm sure that Tim Walton would like to see Kenley be a little more patient. Try to get a better pitch to allow something to happen. But she is able to move her teammate over to third. So first and third situation for the Gators.
Chance for the lead here for Mia Williams. Walked her first time up. 17 home runs, 36 runs batted in. One and one. Gators 8th in the country in home runs per game. Top 10 in slug. Top 10 in the country in scoring. Working on Sam Landry here in the third. Changeup just got a piece. 2-2.
That's the pitch that Landry's had to rely on heavily.
And a wild pitch will score another run, and Florida takes the lead as Erickson trots home.
Again, Landry's arm, you can see when she gets disconnected from her hip, and when that happens, it's hard for your brain to tell where your release point is. Look at the release point here, how her arm is so far away from her hip. That presents all sorts of control issues. That ball not even close to the mark. Emmerling, no way that she can grab that. Jocelyn Erickson easily going to score from third base. So the Gators take the lead here in the bottom of the third inning.
So the Sooners helping out the Gators this inning with an error, a wild pitch, a hit batter. Looking for their first win against a #1 ranked opponent in 11 years. You got to go back to the 2014 World Series when they knocked off #1 ranked Oregon.
Take a look at the mechanics right here of Landry. Look at where her arm is, how far away that was. That's a good like 6 to 8 inches away from her hip. And when your pitching arm gets that far away from your body, your brain has no idea like where you should be releasing the ball. She needs to get that arm circle a little bit tighter to her leg.
And gets the swing and miss there for her third strikeout. But the Gators strike back. Florida on top. Erickson. Shake it, don't break it. They are on the move, and they're on top of #1. Here's what's at stake. 2 wins from clinching the outright SEC title. They can win a share of it tonight. If they win and Texas A&M loses to Tennessee, that game is scoreless into the 4th. Florida still very much in play for a double bye for the SEC tournament. The Sooners are guaranteed of at least a top 4 finish, which would get them a double bye. This is the last weekend. Tonight, tomorrow, Saturday around the SEC, and then it's off to Athens for the SEC tournament next weekend.
The free-for-all.
The free-for-all.
It is. Man, it's one of the best tournaments in the country.
This is Nellie McEnroe Marinas. A fly out, 1 down. Yeah, it's 7 different champions in the last 10 years. 11 different teams have reached the SEC final in the last decade.
Well, and I think it's like Coach Walton said, and tells his team that we still have a lot to play for. Every team that shows up in Athens has the opportunity to win that tournament, and that means a lot. It means a lot obviously, because you're actually playing for a championship. And then it means a lot because the committee looks at that full body of work. And oh, by the way, how are you playing late in the season? And we saw it 4 or 5 years ago with Ole Miss. I mean, played through, won that tournament, and worked their way right into a regional host.
Lowest seeded champion. They were an 8 seed and ended up being a top 16 seed in the country after winning the title behind Caitlin Lee, who threw 440 pitches in 28 innings in 4 days and allowed just 3 earned runs.
She was like the Energizer Bunny. Holy cow. Great changeup. She kept a lot of hitters off balance.
Here's Agbayani. Singled, stole a base, and scored in the 2nd inning. Took a 1-0 lead. They tacked on another one in the 3rd inning with the Cassidy Pickering solo home run. That was also one of the keys that Tim Walton mentioned to us coming into the series. You know, both these teams bash. Chances are you're going to give up a home run. Make it a solo and not a 3-run or a grand slam.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tim talked about the fact that, you know, if you go back and you look at our year, we have had a bad inning, not just a bad game, but a bad inning in 4 or 5 different games that accounted to massive runs. And look at the losses.
Don't have the big crooked numbers. That was an 8-run inning just last weekend against LSU.
But those are some big old crooked numbers. And it's a matter of being able to shut the door when your opponent's offense starts to really fire up. If you're giving up 5 runs in an inning, 6, 7, 8 runs in an inning, wheels are falling off the cart. And so you're right, Beth, it is the solo shot, right? It's recoverable. You can, and even emotionally, you can recover from it.
Agbayani draws a walk, so the tying run is aboard here for the Sooners. That's only the first free pass for Rothrock.
Well, Rothrock is pretty steady Eddie when it comes to her control. Just 21 walks coming into today's game in her 88 innings pitch.
Sydney Barker flew out to center first time up. Barker lets that one go by. 1-1.
I think that might have been a missed sign.
Yeah, Patty wants to talk to the youngster about it. Speaking of big innings, Smitty, Alabama is leading South Carolina 11-1. Just a couple of innings in. Alabama trying to work their way up through the SEC standings.
Yep.
They still have, I mean, I think it's 10 teams still have a shot at the double bye.
Yeah. And it's crazy how many teams are at or near 500 in the league.
Yeah, Alabama, Mississippi State, Carolina, LSU all tied. Barker sends that one the opposite way. Agbayani wheeling around second. And she'll get to third, sliding in safely. Runners on the corners with 1 out.
Well, how about Sydney Barker, the freshman, making an adjustment after a little bit of talk from Coach Gasso. She calls timeout after looked like a fake bunt. She takes a curveball in the outer half and just lets it travel. Look at where she connects with that over home plate, shoots it down the right field line. That is just a beautiful piece of hitting, and it puts the Sooners in a position to be able to knot up this game.
Let's go ahead and swing at this next one.
And Tiare Jennings is giving her a little bit like, it's okay, breathe, breathe.
Well, the throw down, Barker in a rundown. Agbayani coming to the plate, and she is out at home. They tried for the first and third rundown and Florida plays it perfectly.
Well, Jocelyn Erickson, one of the best arms behind the dish, is going to run this perfectly. She's going to throw down, and Mia Williams knows immediately. She starts to push Barker back. She sees Agbayani break, and the second that runner from third breaks, you got to come home. A nice throw to the dish. Erickson with the tag, Agbayani out. 2 down now in the top of the 4th.
So both sides have had a player thrown out at home tonight. Florida stays in front by a run. Barker was able to take second. So with 2 outs, a runner in scoring position for Abby Dayton, who had the RBI double in the second. Driving Falby back, and Kendra's got the range to get there. Sooners denied. Gators in front.
Going to break when that rundown goes through, or that throw from Erickson goes through to the second baseman. A lot of different ways you can run that first and third situation, but probably that way run for Oklahoma, not the way they wanted it.
And Monday morning quarterbacking, you know, the next play would have been a fly ball, a sacrifice fly that would have scored the run. But these coaches like to be aggressive on the base pass. Trying to get a win tonight. Oklahoma, if they win it and Texas A&M loses, they have a share of the SEC regular season title. Aggies and Lady Vols are scoreless in the 5th inning in Knoxville tonight. Otherwise, if Florida wins, things tighten up at the top of the standings. Oklahoma a 1.5 up on A&M, 2 games up on Tennessee, 3 games up on Texas. Texas needs to sweep Kentucky and hope that Florida sweeps Oklahoma to have a chance. Arkansas tonight is hosting LSU. They are tied with Florida in 5th place coming into the weekend. Eight, 9, and then the top here to face Sam Landry. As Gasso talks to her son, JT, who's in charge of the offense. Brown off the end of her bat, pulls it to Garcia. 1 down. So the big one tonight is that 1 win and an A&M loss gets a share. If they want the outright championship, they need to win 2 of 3 here or get a win and hope for A&M and Tennessee to lose. And of course, those 2 are head-to-head. That's a very good possibility.
A lot of key matchups, almost like the script was written knowing that these guys.
Riley Holtorf in the 9 spot. Of course, for Oklahoma, they are hunting a first SEC championship. For Florida, they got them stacked up here. 9 is the record. Most recently in 2021, they did win the SEC tournament championship for the 6th time last year. Tied with Alabama for the most postseason trophies. And of course, Florida and Alabama, the 2 SEC schools with national championships.
Yeah, a period of time where either Alabama or Florida won the regular season 12 in a row. And it was one of those 2 clubs at the top. And then Arkansas arrived and Tennessee arrived the last couple of years. And now with Oklahoma and Texas, there's a...
How many ascend into the World Series too? I mean, 14 of the 15 will get in. Missouri can get in if they win the SEC tournament. Holtorf, opposite way, and on the run is Pickering with the sliding catch, 2 down.
That's a good job by Pickering. Had to come a long way for that. Those are the ones, as a pitcher, you're always like, thankful. That first step's so important.
Back to the top, and Kendra Falby.
Now, this is the one that Florida needs to get going. I mean, when Falby is on base, well, and Coach has said it, we go as Kendra goes.
She's been on base every game this season, has reached safely in all of them but one.
Incredible. Well, you look at Falby and then Shoemaker. Shoemaker, we talk a lot about her ability to, hit people in, and she's got power, 71 RBIs, but the two of them together, 51 stolen bases, so they just create chaos. They make you second guess all the time defensively.
Jammed her, Kendra fouls it back. A fly out in the first and then struck out on a drop ball in the second. One of 2 strikeouts tonight for Sam Landry. Called strike 3, got her looking. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Sooners.
Sam Landry picking up a 1-2-3 inning, much needed, goes on the outer half against Falby, picks up the strikeout, third of the game for Landry.
One of our 3-game series with the SEC regular season championship still very much in play in this final weekend. Swing and a miss for Bella Emmerling. 8-9, and then the top to face Keegan Rothrock. And our good pitchers match up Rothrock and Landry tonight. For Florida, their last regular season win against a #1 ranked opponent was 2013 at Alabama. They have not beaten #1 at home since Tennessee in 2007.
Monica Abbott era.
Yes, this is just the second time that #1 has come to town. All right, the strikeout for Rothrock. Let's get an update right now from Knoxville with Peter and Tori. Guys?
Thanks, Beth. You talk about some great matchups. How about Texas A&M in Tennessee? Normally we see some great performances in the circle with the bats, but how about the glove? Bang, bang, double play. We are still scoreless through 5.
Thank you very much, Peter. Texas A&M, a game and a half behind Oklahoma. They were ranked #1 at one point this season. So was Tennessee, ranked #1 at one point. And now it's back to Oklahoma on top. They were ranked #1 earlier this year, and so was Texas.
That's right.
So a lot of SEC on top, and some variety.
Yes, yes. Shuffling back and forth.
Who might be #1 after this weekend?
It's good for the game.
Yep.
Keep people guessing, right? Keep people tuned in.
Oh, by the way, RPI, Texas A&M is 1, Florida is 2, Oklahoma is 3. Texas, South Carolina, and Tennessee all on the super regional host bubble. Alabama is one of the teams fighting for a spot on the regional bubble right now. The likes of Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. There's an infield pop-up. 2 down. There's a look at the regionals host bubble. Not likely for Auburn to get that high of a seed. And of course, Stanford can be seeded in the top 16, but they cannot host due to a conflict on campus. So they could be seeded
but have to
and
go
not
somewhere.
be a host.
That's right. So they could be the #1 seed and say go to.
Well, like a number 16 seed, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah, not.
Correct. But they
But they'd
would
be
not
on the road.
hosted. They'd
I'm
be on
guessing
the
the
road.
committee just won't seed them, and then
Yeah.
they'll go on the road somewhere else.
Yeah, which, and that's happened in the past. Washington, for instance, they were unable to host back when Danielle Ower was pitching, I think it was 09. They did not have lights. They could not qualify to host a regional or super regional. Went on the road, it didn't stop them. They still won the national championship that year. So it is doable.
Didn't hurt. Yeah, Duke recently, due to COVID,
Yes.
chose not to play at home.
So they went up to Georgia.
Yeah. Both these clubs know the significance, though, of staying at home and what a difference it makes. Patty Gasso has talked about chasing the RPI this year. They win 90% of their home games in the postseason, only 36% of their road games. Similar numbers for Florida, home and away. And a bad hop gets over the glove of Holtorf. And the tying run aboard for the Sooners with 2 outs.
These balls hit right at Holtorf, but take a look at the bounce it's going to take right there. It's going to get right up. That's tough. You know, the field starts to get ripped up late in the game. There's been a lot of action on the base pass. See where they score that. I'm sure probably a hit.
Garcia, Falby will get there. No damage done to the bottom of the 5th in a 1-run game in Gainesville. Three to 2, Florida on top of Oklahoma as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Taylor Shoemaker set to lead things off. 2, 3, and 4. They all scored the runs in that 3rd inning. And for Shoemaker, chasing the freshman record, she's already got RBIs, getting closer to home runs and runs scored. I mean, she set the RBI record. It was middle of last month.
Yeah.
By the way, the calendar turned. We are now officially in mayhem, Schmitty.
Best month of the year.
Happy mayhem, everybody. Selection show is Sunday night, May 11th, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Then the regional weekend, the super regional weekend, and the 43rd Women's College World Series will get underway May 29th. And a base hit for Shoemaker. She's aboard for the 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, Shoemaker just so mechanically sound and has just come out on this freshman year and just done a lot of damage. Pitch on the inner half. She's so quick. She gets those hips cleared. Look how quick her hips are going to clear. That allows the barrel to come through. Even though those hands are really pulled inside, she's able to get enough power on that ball to get it through that 3-4 hole. Lead off, one of the things Coach talked about, going to be very important in this game. Lead off here in the 5th.
That's the first time tonight.
Yep.
They've gotten the lead off aboard. Here's Otis, a walk and a single.
See if they try to at some point get Shoemaker in motion. Whether or not it's a hit and run or get her still on a base.
Otis will get out of play.
Otis has been just out in front of that rise ball in the inner half, coming in about 65, 66 miles an hour.
One-two pitch from Landry. Emmerling tried to frame that one. Doesn't get the call. 2-2. This is low, full count.
It's tough to do, but Otis lays off that changeup. It's low, it's slow, easy to go down and get that and chase it into the ground, but gets herself here in a 3-2 count.
It's the 5th full count of the night for Landry. High chopper, the only play will be over to first.
And Shoemaker
And
doesn't
Shoemaker
understand.
doesn't know
She doesn't. She
the
think,
outs.
I think she thought that it was possibly a line out. So I think when Shoemaker was running on a 3-2 count, didn't realize that the ball hit the ground and that Gabby, I think she thought maybe that Gabby Garcia had caught this on a line drive. You can see, look at her, head's down. She comes up and all she does is see that it's in the air. So she thinks that she's coming back. She thinks she's out. She thinks she's doubled off, when really she could have continued to second and been safe.
I believe I was reading Tim Walton's lips telling her it was a ground ball when she was trotting back to the dugout. So I think you're right there, Smitty. She did not see that bounce first.
Your job as a hitter going down to first base or a runner from second to third, when you hear contact, to sneak a peek. We say it all the time, sneak a peek. You got to see what the ball is doing. Did it come off the bat? Did it go in the air? Did it roll down on the ground? Those are little fundamental things that can change the complexity of the game.
So now 2 outs with Erickson up and nobody on board. I think it scored a 6-3-4 double play.
It's not very conventional, but it was the double play, that's for sure.
That's the third, is that the third double play of the game? Yeah. Especially at a time now when outs are at a premium. Erickson to Agbayani at second. And we are headed to the 6th. 3-4-5 coming up for the Sooners. 3-2, Florida in front of Oklahoma. This game 1 of the final series of the weekend of the regular season. And look at the change for Ella Parker. Fighting through a lower leg injury, first 12 games, not much doing, and tearing it up now through the last 9. And she will lead things off. Sooners have not gotten a leadoff on base yet tonight. And it's Parker, Nellie Mack, and Agbayani. All of them hit a home run last weekend in the Texas series, and they are due up to face Keegan Rothrock, holding the Sooners to a couple of runs on 6 hits. Abby Dayton, the RBI double in the first, Pickering a home run in the third. Both teams have had a runner thrown out at home plate tonight. Parker jacks that way back and out of here, tie game.
Wow, Ella Parker, those power numbers coming back. You can see she's getting more and more comfortable with that lower foot injury that really hampered her last month. This is a rise ball in the upper part of the zone, and she's just so relaxed and quiet. Look at the load, the explode, the way that she just gets those hips and barrel through the ball. This ball well beyond the fence. Ella Parker with her 9th home run of the year.
That was out into the trees out there and right. All square at 3 apiece, and here's McEnroe Marinas, a couple of flyouts tonight. If the Sooners win and A&M loses, they have a share of the SEC regular season crown. Still scoreless in that A&M game in the 6th inning at Tennessee tonight. 1 down, and here's Agbayani. Parker taking care of the paperwork after the big home run. Oh, and Agbayani way inside, and that hitter flush. Tim Walton wants to know if Agbayani was out over the plate. And there may be a challenge coming up, or at least a conversation with the umpire crew. It's ruled a hit by pitch, and I think they will do an umpire review here. Oh no, that was way inside.
That was way inside. That was in
This
the
won't
batter's
take
box.
long. And actually, are they even going to bother? Yeah, no doubt about that.
No doubt about that, yeah. There was no way. She even tried to get out of the way. That ball was right at her rib cage.
So now the go-ahead run is aboard. Here's Barker. Tim Walton will come out here to settle down Rothrock as both bullpens have become much more active here in the 6th inning. A couple of Gators up, a couple of Sooners up.
And Rothrock approaching 90 pitches, 88 on the night already.
Ava Brown and Caitlin Oxley.
And you know, this is 3rd time through the lineup. I mean, you lost a lot of those surprise tactics to pull out a pitch. They've probably seen everything you got.
That's Kirsten Deal and Bella Smith, looks like, out in the Oklahoma pen. So here's the 2-0 pitch to Barker. Fouls it back. And now 3-1. Abby Dayton on deck, drove in the first run of the game for OU. Full count.
Barker's got that swing where she really clears those hip. That bat head lags a little bit, so she does a good job of shooting the ball off to the right center side of the field.
Yanks that one foul. Runner was going at first base. Agbayani, she's the go-ahead after the Ella Parker home run to open up the inning. And ball forward to Barker, and that will push the go-ahead into scoring position for Abby Dayton. Back-to-back free passes.
Second walk of the game given up by Rothrock.
First pitch swinging, foul.
Well, this is where Dayton is tough because she will stand in and hit. She's got a lot of different tools. She'll bunt, she'll slap, she'll stand in.
She has hit the ball hard tonight.
6 doubles on the year, a couple of home runs, so she can hit for power. Actually, she had her 7th double of the year in that 2nd inning.
Now 1-2. Got a pinch hitter on deck now, Tia Malloy, after Bella Emmerling struck out her first 2 times up. So Malloy set to hit in the 8-hole.
Good take by Dayton, getting up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's, again, easy to expand that strike zone, but she doesn't bite.
And here we go again with Rothrock and Dayton.
Yep.
That first at-bat was 12 pitches with 9 foul balls. And these two are dancing again. Full count.
It is exactly like that first at-bat.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat. As the showdown continues.
And it's tough on pitchers when you get to that 2 strikes early in the count and then you ride it to full because they're fouling off pitchers. It can be tough, and then you end up losing them to the walk.
What another fabulous at-bat for Abby Dayton. And the bases are loaded with free passes.
Yep. And it's tough. I mean, that can ding your confidence as a pitcher, just trying to use out pitches, and they disappear late in the game, 3rd time through the lineup. And that's why sometimes you have to have other tools that you're comfortable with, other pitches that you might go to late in the game, just to have a different look. It'll be interesting to see how long Coach Walton keeps Rothrock out there.
Tia Malloy will step in, hitting .231 on the season, 11 RBI. We saw her as a pinch hitter last weekend against Texas, got a base hit, a rocket that bounced off of 3rd base and got her on board. She is 1 for 5 this season with the bases loaded. And the deep breath for the freshman out of Woodinville, Washington. Agbayani, Barker, and Dayton aboard.
Defense now for Florida going to be pulled in.
Home run swing from Malloy, 0-1. Missed it away.
This is what Coach Walton talked about for Rothrocks. After the free passes, not letting damage done.
And now 1-2. Into the 7th inning now in Knoxville, scoreless, A&M and Tennessee. Good eye. Two and two.
The Gator umpires.
All the umpires in the crowd don't have the benefit of the TV monitor. Malloy, base hit. The freshman delivers, and Oklahoma grabs the lead back.
Talk about just being patient, really working the at-bat. Does not bite on a pitch off of the plate. This one, a rise ball. Rothrock comes a little bit closer, a little bit higher, and Malloy just able to barrel that up, get it right out onto the green. Easily going to score Agbayani from 3rd. Base is still loaded for the Sooners, looking for more.
And just the one out still. Hannah Core in the 9 spot has kept Riley Holtorf busy at short twice tonight. Infield in. Core gets it over the head of Williams out into right, and a run is in for Oklahoma. And the bottom of the order delivering for the Sooners.
Well, that's one of the keys. When you can have the bottom of the order do damage and turn it over to your power hitters at the top, it just does so much damage. Rise ball in the inner half, that upspin. It's a jam job, but Core able to get it out beyond Williams. Does a good job of trying to elevate, but remember that defense is pulled in. Typical depth, Williams might have had that.
And here comes Pickering. One of the best hitters in the country will step up. Homered back in the third, singled in the fifth. 2 of the free passes have scored in the inning, and the third one is at third base. There's Abby Dayton with Malloy and Core also aboard. The inning sparked by Ella Parker with the leadoff home run. An absolute moonshot out to right. Got things started. Pickering goes the opposite way. Otis will make the catch in foul territory, and a good throw home keeps Dayton at third, 2 out. And Gabby Garcia will be the 9th batter to the plate this inning. Singled back in the third. Oh, got a score update for you. How about the Aggies scoring a run in the top of the 7th? If they win tonight, that means Oklahoma could not clinch a share of the SEC title tonight if they win. Ground ball to first, and stepping on the bag is Reagan Walsh. But 3 runs in, and Oklahoma's back in front. And congratulations to all the golden ticket winners. One of them's back out there in the circle. And Reagan Walsh will drive one right back up the middle, and the tying run will come to the plate. Oklahoma led this thing 2-0, then a 3-run third inning for Florida, got the Gators the lead, and now a 3-run top of the 6th inning for Oklahoma, highlighted by Ella Parker's home run, has them back in front. Here's Kenley Cahalan. It's 5, 6, and 7 this inning against Landry, who is about to throw her 100th pitch of the night. And the pinch runner is Kylie Shaw at first base for Florida. Cahalan 0 for 2 tonight. This could be 2. Second for 1, over to first, not in time. Let's check in with Peter in the studio.
Well, we saw some great defense between Tennessee and A&M, but the runner on base, Coco Woolley, one of the reasons why A&M 9-1 in their last 10 true road games. They get that 1-0 lead, but Lady Vols, bases loaded, 2 outs.
Well, chance for Tennessee. If A&M wins, that means no clinch possible tonight for Oklahoma. Oklahoma needs a win and an Aggie loss, or 2 wins. Those are the earliest scenarios in this closing weekend of the regular season. So again, the Gators will bring the tying run to the plate. It's Mia Williams. And just 5 outs left to work with here in game 1 of the series. Gators and Oklahoma. One or the other has played for the national championship in 13 of the last 15 seasons. No free passes since the third inning for Landry, after she struggled through the first few innings.
Yeah, straighten up those mechanics a little tighter to her release point.
Slings in the 3-0. 10 3-ball counts tonight. Williams gets a hold of one. That is tagged. Tie ball game. Williams strikes for the Gators.
How about Mia Williams hitting in the 7-hole? Her team-leading 18th home run of the year is going to get a 3-1 leveraged pitch. It's elevated, and she just barrels it. Sam Landry knows it the second it's off the bat. She just connects with this, her bat path right on line, and just mashes that ball. Lets it travel and lets it travel deep out of the field. That is a 2-run shot that knocks up this game.
Five here in the bottom of the 6th. It's Ava Brown with just the 1 out. Fireworks tonight in Florida.
This is a Gator team that had 89 home runs coming into the game. Oklahoma's 90. On paper, these two offenses very similar.
And now you wonder if Landry's running out of gas.
Yep.
Another base hit right back up the middle.
Well, this is where you get to the point in the game, third time through the order. It's tough decisions for these head coaches trying to decide, do they leave their aces in? These are two programs that have a distinct ace. Or do you go to someone in the pen that maybe doesn't have as much experience?
Florida's going to get another pinch runner out here. I think it's Brooke Bernard. So the go-ahead on board, if they can plate Bernard, they're 3 outs away from a win. Mia Williams with the 2-run home run evens things up. Due up in the 7th for the Sooners, Ella Parker, who homered to lead off the 6th. Holtorf considered a bunt. 1-1.
Important for Holtorf here to really try to move Bernard, the pinch runner, up. It's all about productive outs at this point in the game.
Then you're going to pass the bat to Falby at the top of the order. Landry has struck her out twice tonight.
Back to that changeup. Again, Holtorf has gotten a heavy dose of those. I mean, at some point, you've got to, you know, the more of those that you get, she struck out on a changeup in the 2nd inning, her first at bat. You almost need to sit. You need to know you're going to get it again. Good take.
Count.
A good change. They come back with a rise. She fouls it straight back. They come back with a change. She does not bite again.
Sid Sanders has come on now to play first base for the Sooners. Didn't get the start tonight. Holtorf, Agbayani had to back up. They get one, and that'll be it, 2 down. But Falby a chance to extend the inning here. Oh for 3 tonight. Sees the change for a strike. Kendra's been on base every game, has reached safely in all but one the entire season. Yet to break through against Landry. This is 2-1. Gator faithful ready to explode. Another terrific crowd here tonight. Beautiful night in Gainesville. Looking for a late lead. Falby gloved by Nellie Mack at third. Side retired, but not before the Gators even the score.
Mia Williams on a 3-1 leverage count hits her 18th home run of the year. This knots up the game. Williams with that clutch home run for the Gators. Has just been on fire. That home run, a massive shot to knot up the game.
That was off Keegan Rothrock. Keegan Rothrock is not out there anymore. This is Ava Brown, and a base hit greets her for Parker. And the Sooners have the go-ahead run on base here in the top of the 7th. It is 3, 4, and 5 here, the heart of the Oklahoma order. McEnroe Marinas, a couple of flyouts and grounded to short her last time up. Tonight in Knoxville, they've gone final. Texas A&M a winner over Tennessee, 1-0. So they will stay in the race with Oklahoma. Sooners cannot clinch a share of the SEC championship here tonight with a win. The drama will continue into the weekend.
You just felt the way this season was going that it was going to come down. Almost you feel like to the last game.
Yeah. Probably won't be decided until Saturday.
That's right.
SEC doesn't play on Sunday, so everybody can get to Athens for the SEC tournament.
One count now for Nellie.
Home runs today for the 2 veterans, Pickering and Parker. Can the newbies add to the tally? 15th appearance for Ava Brown in relief this year. Has had some issues with control. McEnroe Marina sends that one the opposite way. Shoemaker is there, 1 down.
That's a big non-productive out for Ava Brown. Getting that ball lifted. She gets the majority of her outs in the air. She will throw a couple different speeds.
Here's Alanna Agbayani. Has reached all 3 times tonight, has scored twice.
Looked like she attempted.
Yeah, ran through that.
Yeah. They're going to say she didn't.
2-0. Back to swinging away. Transferred in this year from BYU, where she was an all Big 12 and all West Coast Conference performer. Cougs moved around a bit.
Yeah, she's been a spark plug for this team. She's done a great job defensively at second base. A lot of energy in the middle of the lineup, typically hitting that 5 to 6 hole.
And the changeup is in, full count. And it's ball 4. On base 4 times tonight for Alanna. And that'll push the go-ahead run into scoring position for the defensive replacement, Sid Sanders, who will come to the plate for the first time tonight. Usually they're starting first baseman. We were told she did not get the start tonight due to illness, but coming off the bench. The only senior on the roster this year for Patty Gasso. Looks like they're also going to get a pinch runner on at second base, so the go-ahead now with a little more speed. And it's Cheney Hilton. Still just the 1 out. So a chance for Sanders. Batting .250 in her last 8 games. But her career, 54 home runs, top 10 amongst active players. The power numbers have declined this year, but she's still dangerous.
Oh, very. Opportunity now, though, for the Gators with Sanders being right-handed, potentially roll a double play ball. Got the middle infielders deep. Corners are deep. Boy, pitch on the inner half, and the Gators are wondering where the pitch is missing.
2-1. And now 2-2.
Yeah, comes a little bit more over the plate. Erickson framed that pitch prior. Ava Brown says, okay, I don't get it. I'll move that in an inch.
Crushed but foul. That's Hilton to go ahead at second. Agbayani over at first. Here on the top of the 7th, a tie game. And it's another full count. A 3-run 6th inning for Oklahoma. Florida countered with 2 of their own in the bottom half. And another nail-biter between these 2 programs. Sanders skies it out to left. Otis. 2 down, and the runners cannot advance. And it's left to Abby Dayton. By the way, for the Gators, 2, 3, and 4 will come to the plate in the bottom half of the inning. Shoemaker, Otis, and Erickson. Otis famous in these parts for the the Arkansas Tim Walton ejection after the 30-minute review, and then Otis walked it off
with the grand slam.
With the grand slam.
Yeah, every game's a battle.
One of her 2 walk-offs. She also got one against the Tide.
I'm sure right now Walton is talking about Dayton. Dayton has had some epic at-bats in this game, all against Rothrock.
And you got Emmerling on deck, who has not been as dangerous tonight.
Yeah, a couple of strikeouts. Ooh.
Tried to catch Hilton sleeping.
That's a nice screwball in the outer half. And that's the pitch that I think that Ava Brown needs to throw to Dayton. It's the pitch that Rothrock really doesn't have. She doesn't really move the ball away from lefties. Brown does.
Dayton out to Falvey in center. Plenty of room. And it is to the bottom of the 7th. Will it be another walk-off kind of night for the Gators? Corby Otis is due up second. That is significant for Florida fans because she has a pair of walk-offs to her credit this season. The first one against Arkansas, sending it out over the right field fence. That was in early April and extra innings, and then this base knock scores Shoemaker for the game winner in the Alabama series. And here they go again. It is Shoemaker, Otis, and Erickson due up with a chance to win game 1 of the series. Shoemaker, a walk, got hit by a pitch and singled tonight. Continuing her quest for SEC and National Freshman of the Year honors.
Both these clubs, impactful freshmen. Been able to step up in big moments.
Yeah, Tori Edwards at LSU, Audrey Vandegrift at Florida, the other 2 with big rookie campaigns. Sticking with Sam Landry, the pitch count now over 120 for their ace. And Shoemaker, the game winner's aboard with nobody out. And they get that lead off on base. Tim Walton thought this would be a big story in this series. And here's Corby Otis. Walk, single, hit into a double play. That was a base running miscue by Shoemaker.
I'm sure Shoemaker, once she sees contact, or hears contact, she's going to be looking to see where that ball's at. And it's interesting asking Otis potentially to bunt in this situation, but now that could just be first pitch. Now give her the green light until she gets a strike.
Nope, squaring again.
Yeah.
Dropping down the sacrifice. Runner into scoring position, trying to win it here in the 7th.
It's textbook softball. You get the first runner on, you bunt her over in the scoring position, you get a base hit, you win, that's all.
Here's Erickson. Fourth time to see Landry tonight. She's hit into a double play, reached on a fielder's choice, and grounded out to the right side. Erickson will be good enough to move the runner over, 2 down, and the game winner now 60 feet away. And Reagan Walsh on this senior weekend who is 2 RBI shy of catching Francesca Anea, number 2 all-time in that category for the Gators. And will she get a pitch to look at here with Kenleigh Cahalan on deck?
Yeah, probably not. Kenleigh has not looked good in her 3 at-bats. In fact, her last 2 at-bats, she's been first pitch swinging, non-productive outs. And I think Walsh, with the year that she's been having, I think you pitch gingerly around her, i.e. an unintentional, intentional walk. But you also have to be careful too, because Landry, we saw her earlier in the game have some control issues.
Certainly don't want to lose it on a wild pitch or a pass ball. The leadoff single for Shoemaker, and she's made her way all the way over to third. Trying to walk it off. And as Emmerling sets up way outside, it will apparently fall to Cahalan, the Alabama transfer, to try and win it. Game 1 of the series against Texas last weekend. Oklahoma did this to Reese Atwood, and they got the out they needed right after that to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is strategic. You gotta pick who you want to attack. This is a great decision by Oklahoma.
Cahalan, 10 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Oh for 3 tonight. Kenleigh's last 2-out hit was on March 1st.
She gets behind to Kenleigh. Next up is Mia Williams.
Home run hitter.
This is a big pitch right here for Sam Landry. Come back
delivers.
With the wow.
2-0 change.
Wow. And Kenleigh was surprised by that pitch.
Three and one. Oh, wow. Break there for the Gators.
I'd be sitting change here if I was Kenleigh.
Full count, 2 outs. Game winner at third base.
Wow.
Ground ball to Sanders, and she's there to make the play. Florida denied. We're going extras in Gainesville. On extras in Gainesville, Pickering and partner have homered for OU. Mia Williams, the game-tying home run in the 6th, the first homer allowed by the Sooners late in the game since early March. And so we've got extra softball in the opener of the series here tonight, final weekend of the regular season. Sooners right now in the driver's seat in the SEC. A win gets their magic number to 1. A loss, and it's just a half a game lead over Texas A&M. 8-9, and then the top here in the 8th. Florida looking to stay in the hunt for a double bye in the SEC tournament as Emmerling is hit. Now the go-ahead is aboard. And the Gators wondering if that was off the knob and not the arm.
Oh, yeah, it almost looked like it did go off the knob. An 0-2 pitch, too.
Ruling on the field is hit by pitch.
It's a rise ball. It's an 0-2 pitch, and they're trying to get underneath the arms.
That looks like it hits the hand. Yeah, good. So this is the 3rd straight inning, the leadoff aboard for Oklahoma. And this was a big one here with the go-ahead run and nobody out.
Especially number 8 hitter, you've got Core now in the 9-hole up.
Now you can let her bunt, and then Pickering and the top of the order can go to work. Core. And that's gonna foul. Good job by Erickson to let that go.
Yeah, that's a good, really good read on that. That can be tough to do because sometimes it's easy to panic seeing that ball run down the line. You want to pick it up because you know you're running out of time if it does stay fair.
Emmerling, by the way, the catcher at first base, has already been lifted once for a pinch hitter, so she's got to stay out there and run. And that's a fair ball inside the line, out to left. And they don't even need to use an out to advance the base runner. And here comes the top of the order.
This is just really good hitting by Hannah Core, being able to get this ball inside the line. You can see that Kenley Callan is off the line. That ball's going to get right over the bag. So a big hit out of that 9-hole. The Sooners in business here in the top of the 8th.
Pickering a couple of hits, including a home run tonight. Ground ball, bobbled. They'll get the out at second, but that could have been a double play as Williams couldn't pick it clean. And the go-ahead over to third base.
Yeah, Williams trying to get this ball. You can see it's going back up the middle, and you can see it just a little bit. She lifts her head. It pops off the back of the glove. Presence of mind, though, to make sure that she at least gets one out, but you could see her head lift just a little bit. But you're right, Beth, that could have been a double play.
Oh, did she have the ball? It looked like she tried to barehand it. It was not in her glove when she was touching second base.
Well, it doesn't have to be in her glove. It only has to be in her glove if she's
but
tagging.
I mean, possession. Did she have possession in her hand?
Yeah. Yeah, if that ball's squirting out.
All right, she was able to corral it. We're told from our crack production crew tonight. A 1 pitch to Garcia. 1 for 4 with a single. So the top of the order coming up for a 5th time tonight. This is the first that this group is seeing of Ava Brown. Came on in relief in the 7th. This might be two. Williams gets the tag and over to first, double play.
Wow, when it looked like Mia Williams had the opportunity to turn a double play, a play ago, it doesn't form, but Mia Williams knows she needs to charge this ball off of Garcia's bat. She picks it up, she makes the tag on Pickering to out to first for Garcia, the double play to get out of it.
Make the good defensive play. You get to come up and hit the next inning. How about the last inning for Mia Williams? Pow.
Pow, a 2-run shot to knot up the game. She gets a pitch that's elevated, a 3-1 count. That rise ball goes bye-bye. How about the 18th home run of the year for Mia Williams?
So the Gators have trailed twice tonight, rallied to tie the game twice tonight, and now their second chance to walk off the opening game of the series. Sooners are rolling with the ace, pushing 140 pitches tonight for Sam Landry. Williams, hard hit and misplayed by Garcia. Game winner is aboard with nobody out.
This ball hit very hard at freshman Gabby Garcia. Pitch on the outer half and it's elevated. Mia Williams just gets all the way around it. This ball is just bashed at Garcia. That's just her 4th error of the year. Garcia has been very good at shortstop for the freshman.
So now Ava Brown does not attempt the sacrifice.
And they're actually going to call that a single.
Oh my.
To shortstop.
Brown, a single and a walk tonight. So they called for a sacrifice of their number 3 hitter in the 7th inning, but not for their number 8 hitter here in the 8th inning. One and two.
I think the key is in any situation late in the game like this, you know your job is to move your teammate up. Productive outs are the name of the game here.
Swing and a miss. And a strikeout for Landry. One down.
Landry just uses that rise ball at just the right time. She gets herself in a 1-2 count and is just going to put that rise ball nice and sweet there for Brown to swing under. Big strikeout for Sam Landry on the rise.
The 9 hitter Riley Holtorf rips one foul. That's her first strikeout since the 4th inning. Only her 6th swing and miss all night. So that was huge for Landry.
Yeah, just the 5th strikeout of the night. She's got just as many base on balls, which is, again, uncharacteristic. She has definitely been challenged by this strong Gator offense.
Holtorf, ground ball to second. They get the lead over to first, not in time, but 2 down. And a 5th trip to the plate for the leadoff hitter, Kendra Falby, looking for her first hit of the night. On this senior weekend for Falby. Top 5 in school history, hits, runs, stolen bases. Swing and a miss, the throw down. And sliding in safely is Holtorf.
Well, and I like that call because Emmerling has only thrown out 3 runners all year long, and this is just an opportunity for Florida to get their number 9 hitter into scoring position, and Falby, opportunity to walk this game off.
0-2 pitch. Landry has struck her out twice tonight. Game winner at second base. Got her again for the third time tonight. Landry able to sit down Falby. And for the second inning in a row, the Gators denied.
Sam Landry with her 6th strikeout of the night on the outer half. That is a huge get to get Falby.
The national championship in a game that lasted 5.5 hours and nearly 500 pitches to 132 plate appearances. And Ella Parker will lead off the top of the 9th with her 3rd straight hit in the last 4 innings. She has to stay and run with a lower leg injury that usually requires her to wear a boot when she's not playing. Noteworthy, since she is the go-ahead run now. And here's Nellie McEnroe-Marinas.
This is an aggressive Oklahoma team late in the game. They know what they're hunting. They know what they want to go after. Second time now seeing Ava Brown in relief.
Parker, by the way, is the DP, so if she got into scoring position, they could decide to lift her. She would be burned, and hope they wouldn't have to come back around with the batting order one more time. We've seen her run, though, with the lower leg injury. Hasn't seemed to bother her a whole lot.
Yeah, I think it's been healing over time, but you can tell with her at-bats, her last 10 games, she's been significantly better than when it was really bothering her earlier in the year.
McEnroe-Marinas, not like her to be so quiet. 0 for 4 tonight. Leads the SEC in conference play in home runs, is number 2 in runs batted in. McEnroe-Marinas drives one out to center. 2 aboard with nobody out. This was the case the last inning, and a double play got Florida out of the threat. Looks like they'll let Parker stay and run. The go-ahead out at second, back-to-back base hits. Here's Agbayani.
See what they do if they play a little small ball here. Advantage of Agbayani being left-handed is anything she hits right side more than likely would move Parker up to third.
18 sack bunts on the year for this Oklahoma offense.
Yeah, show some of that is to pull the corners in, give yourself a little more room through the 5-6 and the 3-4 hole.
.311 tonight, Risp. Agbayani drops down a good one, and everybody's going to be safe. Bases loaded, nobody out for Sid Sanders.
And she showed the bunt earlier in this. You should not be surprised. The corners are just too deep in this situation. You can see her hands immediately. Kenley does not come in. You can see Reagan Walsh as well, stays back at first base for Florida, and Agbayani just going to beat out that bunt that she lays down. Infield base hit.
How about the placement? Just right back at the pitcher. Golden opportunity for the Sooners to take the lead in extras.
And for the Sooners, that's just smart. That is reading what the defense is giving you and taking advantage of it so that you've got your big bopper now, Sid Sanders, up with the bases juice, nowhere to put her.
Flew out her first time up. over 200 games in her career now for the senior, who played a year at Arizona State, the last 3 with Oklahoma. Watches the 0-2, 1 and 2. Sanders on the season is 3 for 3 with the bases loaded. No slams this year, but 2 in her career.
Yeah, Sanders just needs to elevate the ball. She needs to get it on the green. The last thing she wants to do, being right-handed, is put that ball on the ground.
That gets out of play. One-two pitch from Brown. Infield pop, and that won't be good enough to move anybody. 1 out. Parker, Nellie Mack, Agbayani on base. Here's Abby Dayton. Has reached a couple of times. Her 4 plate appearances, she's seen about 40 pitches.
She is definitely won the foul ball hitting contest tonight.
A 12-pitch at-bat for an RBI double, a 10-pitch at-bat for a walk. The other 2 got to the outfield, which might be good enough to get in a run, and a base hit back up the middle. Parker scores. That'll be it, just the 1. And the Sooners grab the lead here in the top of the 9th.
That's just great hitting. Dayton has been on the ball all night long. She has seen a lot of pitches and has attacked pitches on the outer half of the plate. This one's slightly elevated, going up and away. It's a screwball, but she's able to barrel it up, catch it, and drive it right back up the middle. Infield, the middles are in, so that ball easily making it to the green. Sooners on top.
4th single of the inning. And here's Bella Emmerling. Couple of strikeouts, got hit by a pitch. Sooners have not lost a game this year with at least 6 runs on the board, and that's what they've got right now. Looking for some insurance, because they'll have to face the heart of the Gator lineup in the bottom of the 9th. Out to shallow center, and that one won't be deep enough. 2 down. Couple of infield pops, and it's the number 9 hitter, Hannah Core. Couple of singles tonight with an RBI.
Yeah, Beth, and those singles late in the game has made some good adjustments. One off of Rothrock, one off of Ava Brown.
First pitch swinging and a miss. What a way to usher in mayhem on this May 1st. Core hard hit to third. 1 run is in. Will it be enough for Oklahoma? Taylor Shoemaker and the meat of this order coming up for Florida.
free passes, a hit batter. She's worked herself out of trouble and has just really been steady as the senior goes in that circle.
Trying to go from start to finish, Mitty.
Yep.
2 pitches away from
Yep.
150 on the night. And she will face 2, 3, and 4. A couple of chances for Florida to walk it off already tonight. And here comes another. Down a run. Shoemaker has reached all 4 times she's come up tonight. She, Otis, and Erickson have all reached and scored runs this evening. This is just game 1, by the way. We're back tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and we're here for game 3 Saturday night.
I have to go to an oxygen bar or something like that. Or hydrated or something. I mean, these are epic games every time they take the field together.
Texas A&M won tonight, by the way, so there's no clinching scenario this evening for the Sooners. A win, they stay a game and a half up. A loss, they're only a half a game up with 2 to go. Shoemaker, good charge by Garcia at short. Stays down on it, 1 out. Freshman at short.
How about the freshman Gabby Garcia going to get this ball? And this is the key. She makes this play by going and get. This is a tough play. She sets it in her glove. Strong throw over to Sid Sanders. Look at the way she's going to get that glove down, angles it so that ball sets, and then the hard throw across the infield to Sid Sanders. First big out of this bottom of the 9th.
These 2 teams not only jockeying for position in the SEC, but resumes strong enough for the selection committee to talk about these 2 as the potential overall #1 seed for the NCAA tournament. This is the final weekend of the regular season. Championship week next week. And then the selection show Sunday night, May 11th. 2 hours of coverage for you on ESPN2 starting at 7 o'clock. Otis got under it. Dayton is there. 2 down. Last chance is Jocelyn Erickson.
And Erickson's been quiet tonight. The former Sooner opportunity here in the bottom of the 9th.
In for a strike. And pitch number 156 of the night. Almost hit her.
She's been working that outer half to Erickson at times. Tries to push her back on the inner half so that she can expand.
Oh, and that time it does hit her. Tying run aboard, winning run to the plate for Florida.
Hits the back knee. Doesn't even hit the front knee. It hits the back knee as that ball crosses over.
Second hit batter of the night. Staying alive on this senior weekend. Here's one of those seniors, Reagan Walsh. Intentionally walked her last time up. And the strategy worked. They got Kenley Cahalan to ground out, denying the Gators a chance to win it in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, this is that part of the order for Florida that double-digit home runs. Erickson 13, Walsh 12.
Gabby Comia is the pinch runner, trying to tie it up. RBI single for Reagan back in the third. Are you going to pitch to Walsh this time and not Cahalan here with 2 outs? She's the game winner. Bat in hand. She is the active D1 RBI leader.
Oh, nice changeup.
And now the Gators down to their final strike. Walsh drives that one out to left. Two on, down a run with 2 outs. And Kenleigh Cahalan now will have another crack at it. Missed a chance in the 7th. 0 for 4 tonight. And are the Gators talking about a pinch hitter? The pitch count now up to 162 for Landry. No, it looks like Cahalan's going to stay.
Well, it was interesting because I think when Tim came to talk to the umpire, Cahalan started walking to the dugout. I think Tim asked her, I'm not pinch hitting for you.
Pinch running.
Where are you going? Exactly. I'm putting a pinch runner in.
Cassidy McClellan will run it first. She's the game winner. They've rallied from a deficit twice tonight. And Walton wants a timeout to talk with his base runners. So everybody's getting a conference in.
That's right. Well, I'm sure he's telling the base runners, be careful. Don't let Emmerling throw behind you, especially Cassidy over at first base. Get picked off.
Don't leave early. Another good one.
That's another good one.
Well, you could certainly say that Cahalan is due for a 2-out hit. It's been 2 months. Grounded out on a 3-2 changeup in the 7th with a chance to walk it off. Prep Alabama Player of the Year. Went to the World Series with the Crimson Tide and now switching colors this season. Chops to second, over to first, and that'll do it. Oklahoma, a win in extra innings to take the series opener, 6-5. And what a job by Sam Landry to gut that one out. And now the magic number is down to 1 for their game tomorrow night. Game-winning RBI belongs to Abby Dayton as they win it 6-5. Thanks for being with us for Gainesville. Let's get you back to the studio.